Alrighty, boys and girls, hello and welcome to Port Moody Rec Center's virtual classroom. I'm teacher Sam, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about going outside and what we really need to go outside and stay safe. Alright, so going outside can have a lot of different meanings. This lesson, I'm just going to talk about when we're going outside and we're doing a little bit of day trip. Maybe you want to go for a hike, or you want to go for a little bit of a canoe, or whatever it may be. I just want to talk to you guys about a little bit about what we need when we're doing those activities. All right, and so number one thing we need is a water bottle. All right, no matter what we're doing, even if we're going for a swim, you don't want to drink the water that you're swimming in, so you want to bring a water bottle with you. All right, does everybody need a water bottle this big? I would say no. If you're going on a longer trip, maybe one where you're not always going to have access to clean water, a bigger water bottle helps. But if you're going for a little bit of a soccer game, or you're going on a little walk, you don't really need one this big. All right, so second thing is you want a first aid kit. All right, so this is our first aid kit. It's a little bit small, it's waterproof, and it's designed to last you for about 1 or 2 days worth of first aid supplies. All right, so as I said before, it should be waterproof because if it rains, what are you gonna do? But also it's small because we don't really need a lot of stuff, right? If we're going on a small day trip, we're not really expecting absolutely like crazy things to happen. Excuse me. The worst thing we expect is maybe someone falls and like scrapes up their arm, and then gets a bit of a cut, or maybe someone like hits their head and then they get a little bit of a bump or a bruise. All right, so what I have in here, and I'll show you just a second, is I have in here a little bit of tape, all right, and then some gauze. I have alcohol wipes and some band-aids, and then I have a big patch of gauze right here in the back. All right, and so also I have allergy medicine in case anybody needs some allergy medicine. And guys, it's really important. Obviously, we're not going to bring an ambulance with us or a giant first aid kit if we're going on a small little day trip, but it is really important to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. All right, obviously we don't want anyone to get hurt, we don't want to have to use this, but it is always a good thing to do, just because it keeps you it gives you a peace of mind in that if someone does get hurt, you know what to do, you have your tools with you, and you can make sure that they stay safe until you can get them some real medical attention. And so last thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about clothing. All right, so what do I mean by clothing? Clothing can mean a lot of different things. This jacket here is clothing, this t-shirt is clothing, these shorts are clothing, but I wouldn't always necessarily wear them for every single type of weather. So when you guys are going outside, you're going on a hike, let's say it's raining, you're going to want a rain jacket. This right here isn't really a rain jacket, right? This is more of a rain jacket, okay? But also, if it's really sunny out, we don't want something as heavy as this rain jacket right here, okay? So it's really important you guys keep in mind, what type of clothing are we wearing, all right? There's no such thing as bad clothing or bad weather. It's just bad clothing that you're wearing, okay? So also, another thing to keep in mind, you don't want to wear cotton. So if you guys look on the back of your shirts, in the back there's going to be a little white tag that sometimes bothers your neck a little bit. On that tag, it tells you what your clothes are made of. So if you guys are wearing cotton, it's going to soak up a lot of water. So if you get any water on it, if it's raining, if you're sweating a lot, it's going to absorb all that water and it's going to make it really heavy. And if it's cold out, it's going to make you really cold. Okay, so we want to stay away from cotton. We want to wear stuff like polyester. You want to wear your Under Armour. All right, you want to wear wool. Wool keeps you really warm, like wool socks. All right, and this jacket right here, it's made of polyester. It has a little bit of down on the inside, and this is meant to keep you warm, but it's also really light, so that if you're going on a walk and it's a little bit chilly out, it'll still keep you warm, but it's not so heavy like this one right here that it's going to make you too hot and make you want to take it off. All right, and then another thing I just want to bring up quickly about clothing is layering. So this is made of cotton, so I wouldn't necessarily wear this when I'm outside. But what's really important is that when you guys are putting your clothes on, you want to keep in mind, like, what layers are you putting on the inside? All right? Would you ever wear your underwear over your shorts? No, hopefully not. So what I'm trying to get you guys to think about is you want to wear your thinner layers on the inside, and then you want to wear a thicker layer on the outside, so that if it ever gets too hot, you can just take it right off again. Okay? Does that sound good? I hope you guys learned something. I'm glad you guys stayed to the end to listen, and I will talk to you more about a little bit more specific stuff that we need for part 2 of this video. All right? Alrighty, boys and girls, welcome back to part 2 of Port Moody Rec Center's virtual classroom. I'm teacher Sam, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about outdoor ed and what it means to be outside and what we really need to bring outside. So in part 1, we talked about water, we talked about clothing, and we also talked about first aid. Alright, but that's if we're going on a little bit of a day trip. We should always want to bring those 3 things. But let's say we're going on a bit of a more of an adventure, right? Let's say we want to go for a canoe trip or we want to go for a rock climbing trip. What would we need to bring? And like, let's say we're going for multiple days. Number one thing is I would say food, all right? So I have here a little bit of a Cliff Bar. And the reason I bring up food is because not all food is the same. So I don't want to bring food that's really like, not unhealthy, but I want to bring food that gives me a lot of energy and it sustains me for a long time. All right, so I don't mean things like candy, I don't mean things like chocolate. All right, dark chocolate's okay, but I want to bring stuff that'll keep me going for the entire day. It gives me a lot of energy, doesn't make me feel full, it doesn't give me a stomach ache. All right, I don't want to have to bring too much food, so I want to bring food that's really light but also gives me a lot of energy. All right, so number one thing is food. Food's really important. Number 2 is this flashlight right here. So this is called a headlamp, all right? And the reason it's called a headlamp is because all you do is you put it on your head, all right? And the flashlight turns on, and then mine blinks a little bit. But the reason I bring it up is because if you guys are going on a trip that you're staying overnight, as soon as the sun goes down, you're not gonna have any more light. We're assuming that we don't have our phones on us, so we don't have our flashlights on our phones. We don't wanna have to rely on our cell phones, guys. We wanna have the tools that we can bring with us and then only use those tools. The cell phone usually will not be brought on these type of camping trips, okay? So you may ask yourself, why do we want a headlamp and not a flashlight? Well, the reason for that is if you have to hold on to it, you only have one hand with you, okay? If you only have one hand with you, if you're looking for something, then you're like trying to like look for something with one hand and you want to hold on to something, you're like putting your flashlight in your mouth and you're like trying to find it and you're like having trouble breathing. It just doesn't work all that great. Okay, so headlamp is really important. And then also bringing extra batteries, right? It would suck if this died. I in here have rechargeable batteries so that if I ever have a portable charger that I can bring with me, I can just charge my batteries with me on the go. Okay, so number 1 was food, number 2 was a flashlight or a headlamp, and then number 3 is I have here like some gear with me, all right? And so what I have to represent that is I have a little clip. This is called a carabiner. It's meant for climbing and all types of different activities. And then right here I have a rappelling device, okay? This is called a figure 8 descender, all right? Nothing super fancy, it just looks like a snowman, okay? And the reason I brought this out is because I want you guys to think about what type of equipment you'll need on your trip, all right? So if you're going on a hiking trip, all you really need are your 2 feet and your boots. Maybe you want to bring some walking sticks with you, I don't know. Don't really need all that much. But let's say you're going on a rock climbing trip. What do you need with you? Well, you need your clips, you need your harness, you want to bring rope, obviously, you want to bring a helmet, all right? If you're going on a canoe trip, let's say you want to go canoeing somewhere, what do you need with you? Well, obviously you need a canoe, you need a life jacket or else you can't go on the canoe, you need paddles, all right? You need a bunch of different stuff. And so I just brought this out here. You won't need this on every single trip, but I just want you guys to think about what kind of things you'll need on each type of trip. It's really important to write everything out and then make sure you have everything in an ordered list, okay? So that was part 2, guys. I hope you guys learned a lot. Please make sure to stay safe and stay hygienic over this quarantine. I know it's really hard. I know talking about outside just makes you want to go outside even more, but I know we can do this. We're going to get through this. It's not going to last forever and we're going to get through it. All right, I'll see you guys later.